Oh, there you are. Long time no see. First, we're going to take a look at the news. Then we're going to take a look at my portfolio.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society.
You're in violation of secure communication procedures, Condor.
So we just went ahead and fixed the glitch.
There is no America. There is no democracy.
Our fifth objective, a new world order.
There are no nations. There are no peoples. There are no Russians. There are no Arabs. There are no third worlds. There is no West.
Right-wing conspiracy.
What do you call it when the assassins accuse the assassin?
A new world order.
Thank you for plugging in to the Stones Unturned podcast.
Well, just a second there, Professor. We fixed the glitch.
I'm your host, Professor Thomas Henry Horan.
He reads everything.
Hello again, you lucky devils. Again, it is I, Professor Thomas Henry Horan of the Stones Unturned podcast. So many of you had the privilege of watching me. I'm not still streaming, am I? Hold on a minute. Okay. All right, hold on. There we go. Okay, hi Sea Pines, hi Creepy Crawl. Yes. Okay, Sven. Hold your breath while we do the news, and then I'll show you some selections from my portfolio. The news, where were we? Let's see. Fake book. My fake book. Yeah, so I actually need, I'm going to have to do a lot of other editing to that anyway, but yeah. Just to make some people happy, I will edit that video I just made. Pizzagate, QAnon, and the Epstein list. Why the far right is obsessed with sex trafficking? Well, the reason we're so obsessed with it is because so many of you people in the woke media have been arrested and convicted lately for it. That's one reason. But let's get to the next news story of the day. This needs to go over here like that. There we go. Clinton Library deletes post asking people to guess who former President Bill Clinton sent his very first email to. Read this article for free. I am reading this article for free. Subject of intense mockery on social media with ill-timed posts meant to commemorate World Typing Day. But did he act? Because he could have. He could have sent his very first email to Jeffrey Epstein. Bill Clinton first email. What's the first ever presidential email? George Bush Sr. was the first president to send an email. Since his first presidential email in 1998, he wrote only 2 emails as president. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Okay, whatever. Bristol Myers CEO talks new acquisitions. We are writing the next chapter of the company. Bristol Myers Squibb, big pharma. New acquisitions. We are writing the next chapter of this company. Pharmaceutical giants slew of recent acquisitions. Where'd they get the capital for that? We're going to talk about that in this coming Sunday, January the 14th, 2 p.m. ish. Central Time. That's Chicago time. We're going to talk about where Bristol Myers Squibb got the cash for all those acquisitions. Epstein accuser claims pedophile had sex tapes of Trump, Clinton, Prince Andrew, and Richard Branson. Can we see these tapes? Sarah Ransom, in a string of 2016 emails to then New York Post columnist Maureen Callahan, also claimed that she had copies of tapes Epstein had made of some of his high-profile friends. Trump, Clinton, Andrew, Branson. But she doesn't claim that she has. In 2019, she told the New Yorker that she invented the tapes. Okay. See, there are all these phony conspiracy theories get out there so they can be debunked. That way, anybody comes up with any real information. Oh, that's just part of that crazy conspiracy theory. We just talked about that last Sunday. Law firm registers as foreign agent for Hunter Biden-linked company 8 years after they went into business. This is on Politico, which is owned by Robert Albritton, a Clinton crony. And this law firm is Cravath, Swaine, and Moore. What's an interesting coincidence? Because Maria Farmer's stepfather is a wealthy businessman named Swaine. Oh, they put an E on it. Cravath announces new partners. Columbia, Georgetown, Fordham, Pennsylvania. Let's see what they do. Practices. Antitrust, banking and credit, capital markets, corporate governance and board advisory, data security and privacy, derivatives, emerging and founder-led companies, environmental, social, and governments, financial institutions group, financial restructuring and reorganization, intellectual property, investment management and funds, mergers and acquisitions. So they were acting as a foreign agent on behalf of Burisma for 8 years before they admitted that to the government. And they only admitted it because of all of this has come out. So they were a covert. Cravath, Swaine, and Moore were covert agents acting on behalf of Burisma with the son of the President of the United States on their board of directors for 8 years. And they only admitted it when they got caught. How interesting. KRQE News obtains documents about Zorro Ranch. Thousand pages of documents. I don't know if I've seen these yet. Epstein flew more than 90 times to New Mexico. We're going to take a look at some of those people soon. I don't know. I didn't follow Trump's presidency, so I don't know anything about any of this stuff. Let's see what's going on here.
Who knows who Michael Cohen is? My favorite. You all know who he is, right? Okay. Who here knows that President Trump and I beat him in court 6 months ago when he sued him? You didn't know that either, did you? So I'm here to send you one very loud message. What the fake news covers, and by the way, the fake news is everyone.
I'm not going to listen to this whole thing. She mentioned, let me play it again. She mentions an interesting name. DC high-powered lawyer.
Who knows who Michael Cohen is?
Michael Cohen? You know Michael Cohen's involved in the John Rufo case, right? We're going to talk about that in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, Cat Williams has been making some waves. Okay, watch this video. Watch this video.
Anybody else find it weird that nobody that's been associated with Epstein endorsed Trump, but almost every single one of them endorsed Biden and Obama and Clinton? Huh. Coincidence, I'm sure.
I don't know who he thinks he is. But I noticed. I'm trying to remember what this is.
My name is Tara Rodas, and thanks to the bravery of Aaron Stevenson, and thanks to Project Veritas and James O'Keefe for publishing the story, I was sitting on the Pomona Fairplex emergency intake site processing unaccompanied children. So you may know that children were coming to this country from other countries. We were taking them into the care, HHS, and then delivering them to sponsors, unvetted sponsors throughout the United States. So because one whistleblower came forward and because one organization was willing to tell the truth, I was able to then uncover and report that the U.S. government is the middleman in a large-scale, multi-billion-dollar child trafficking operation. We literally have government-sponsored, taxpayer-funded child trafficking. So one whistleblower coming forward, telling the truth, sets in motion a cascade of things that you could never imagine. So I was very grateful for the opportunity for someone to tell the truth.
So are we. But not Politico, not The Atlantic. Yeah, really, Chrissy Teigen and her really, really, really weird text. Let's listen to what this guy has to say. I'm getting interested in this because the stereotype is that the crazy right-wing, MAGA deplorable conspiracy theorists, we're all a bunch of white rednecks. And I'm just seeing more and more and more of these videos from African-American people, such as myself and Drew Beeson and, podcasters.
I know you guys love her, but can we talk about some of Chrissy Teigen's disturbing old tweets? Now, some of these are just reactions to the show Toddlers and Tiaras, but they're a little creepy. Like this one saying, seeing little girls do splits half naked is just, I want to put myself in jail. Girl, what? And this one that goes, water slides that go through a Shark Tank, time to get my blank on. Huh? Then she compared a baby to a P-star. Why would you even make that comparison? And then another tweet saying, I'm about to Anthony Weiner this kid. I just want y'all to know that Anthony Weiner was a politician who went to prison.
Yeah, he's got a point. Let's watch another one of these.
This is out, and Trump is innocent. And everyone who accused that Trump was guilty is guilty.
Yeah. What's this one? I don't know what some of these are.
When Barack became president, he tried to force Africa to accept same-sex marriage, and African government said, we don't allow that stuff here. And Barack sanctioned.
I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with this gentleman. I'm just saying, without the black vote, the Democrats have zero chance. And if they're turning on Obama, because of the facts, I don't know what to and they're not going to vote for Nikki Haley. This one looks interesting.
I'll delete that shit. But I didn't record you or me. It was just voices.
I'll give you your hug now. We did it. You were right. We did it.
Dude, I was trying to tell you. I couldn't say much.
You were right.
You just have to watch my child.
Yeah, the thing is, Nancy Pelosi's daughter was there, and she sold her footage to HBO. She didn't go to jail. This one's interesting, and we're going to talk a lot about this on the podcast on Saturday. This young man's video is very interesting.
They released Epstein's flight logs. They actually released Epstein's flight logs. They look like this. They are 118 pages long.
They are not technically flight logs. They are pilot's logs. And the pilot is required to record all the passengers and any packages that are on the plane in case the plane crashes. They can identify the victims.
Running from like early 90s or maybe the late 80s, I forget, through to
Starting
the early 2000s.
1991.
And some names come up a lot. I have only just started looking into them, but the first name that caught my eye was Andy, just because he's on so many flights here and I don't know who he is. Plus, Andy is AS. You'll find out why in a second.
Did you notice Mark Middleton's name? We're going to talk about that on Sunday or the next Sunday.
And I can't help but notice that he's on flights like this one, which is Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, Andy, and one female. Everyone has names on the list, except for when there's one female, or sometimes there's two passengers, unnamed. I think we all know what that means. And right here is the top of where Andy shows up, Andy Stewart. And from then on, he's known as Andy. And I've never heard of Andy Stewart, so we did a little Google. I couldn't help but notice that Wikispooks was the third answer, and Wikispooks is always spicy and exciting. Yup, didn't let us down. Andy Stewart died suddenly on April 7th, 2020, as Maria Farmer's lawyers were seeking to subpoena him for information on the Epstein case. Interesting. Seems like our boy Andy might have had some information on the Epstein case. Like, for example, here where Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Andy and two females went somewhere, and then they released Epstein's.
He doesn't look like a redneck. He looks like a barista. I'm not getting into the whole Diddy thing, but I'm interested in... I think there's a stereotype, and I bought into it. Every single black person in America is going to automatically defend every single black rapper, right? No. You know, just the same way the Republican Party started taking rural white people for granted, and that's how they got Trump. The Democratic Party has been taking black people for granted, and now they're going to get Trump. What's this one?
You can ask questions about the Kennedy assassination, Robert Kennedy assassination. You can ask questions about anything, any open murder investigation where they don't know who did it. But you couldn't ask questions about Seth Rich. And why was that? Because they didn't want you to. Because if you did, you were going to find out that something they didn't want you to find out. And now we know, now years later, we know that the FBI actually has the laptop of Seth Rich. They first lied and said they didn't have it. Then they lied and said they couldn't get the data. Then they lied and said they had the data, but now they have the data. They're not going to release it for 65 years. So it's the same thing. So when you're not allowed to ask questions about something, and
is that true? Seth Rich laptop. To be turned over by FBI, judge rules. November 29th, 2023. Seth Rich's laptop to be turned over by the FBI, judge rules. A Texas judge, Amos Almazant, ordered a timeline for the disclosure of information on his personal laptop. The FBI responded to Huddleston's FOIA request 2 weeks later, saying they were unable to locate any responsive main files. It was later unveiled that the FBI had over 20,000 pages of files. He's saying Jim Jordan's not interested in the Seth Rich case. Okay, so he wasn't the source of the email leaks. Fine. What is the big secret then? Besides his right, he's dead. He doesn't have a right to privacy. You think Jason Goodman has something to do with it? I think Jason Goodman's got something to do with a lot more than that. Jimmy Dore, you like that? Is that what that older guy was? I'm not sticking up for Trump. I'm just saying, I'm predicting he's already won the election. I'm not unendorsing Trump. I'm not endorsing Trump as president of the United States, but I am endorsing Trump as candidate for president of the United States. So I don't see his name. Is that who that guy is? Okay. I forgot what this is.
I don't know if you saw this story, Jeremy, but basically Ron DeSantis tried to take away Disney World's rights of self-governance since they're pushing all the child grooming stuff lately. And Disney World came back and was like, not so fast. We only answer to the crown. And this is just almost hilarious if you know what's going on, because they would never ever admit this unless they were forced to in a situation like this. But they basically admitted, like, you don't have jurisdiction over us because we're owned by Britain. So for those
owned by the crown, not by the royal family, but the legal institution of the crown. Disney World, owned by the Disney World land, owned by the crown. CNBC, Disney blocks Ron DeSantis Florida power play with the royal family clause. If you can't believe CNBC, who can you believe? Well. March 30th, 2023. Well. This was pretty good. I can't believe Putin surrounded the Kremlin with 20,000 troops and barbed wire to install himself as president after a rigged election. Then he sent the KGB to raid his opponent's home and arrested him 4 times. Now his judges are removing the guy from the ballot. That's what Putin did. That is an interesting coincidence. Here's Cindy McCain.
It hides in plain sight. Epstein was hiding in plain sight. We all knew about him. We all knew what he was doing. But we had no one that was, legal aspect that would go after him. They were afraid of him. For whatever reason, they were afraid of him. It hides in plain sight. Epstein was hiding in plain sight. We all knew about him. We all knew what he was doing.
And you did nothing about it? I thought weren't you like running for president of the United States or something? Epstein didn't have that much power unless he had something on your dad. Did he have video of your dad or something? Or your mom, your stepmom? Is that what he had? And there was nothing stopping you. Aha. World's top climate scientists told to cover up the fact that the Earth's temperature hasn't risen for the last 15 years. That one's true. I forgot what this was.
A third wave of Epstein court documents is unveiled to the public, and the latest set of documents from Giuffre v. Maxwell today. The plaintiffs claim she was trafficked to former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson, Hyatt Chairman Tom Pritzker, and former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak. Giuffre claimed
Epstein and the Pritzkers were like this. Les Wexner, Tom Pritzker, JB's dad. I haven't found anything that really links JB, the governor of Illinois, that closely to Epstein, but his brother and his dad were like this with Epstein. I mean, Epstein had the phone number to the yacht, to the plane, to the cabana. I am not kidding. Epstein had Henry Kissinger's office phone number at Harvard, which you can look up on the web. That's all he had for Henry Kissinger. Wexner, the Pritzker, all the Pritzkers, not so much Tom Pritzker and JB's brother, the ones who run the Hyatt Hotel. They were like this with Epstein, as you shall see. The Oxford, Michigan high school shooter's mother asked to dismiss 3 witnesses and gruesome evidence that could prejudice the jury. Jennifer and James Crumbley are charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. We're going to get deeper into that case at the appropriate juncture in the fullness of time, sometime this spring. I think that's it for today's news. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what kind of video editing the professor may or may not be capable of. It's a good song. The guy playing bass, I'll tell you about him.
I'm not falling asleep, I'm not falling apart. I'm not taking it back, but I'm taking it hard. I waited up for the light, I waited up for the sun, but it was nowhere in sight. The morning never did come, and neither did you. You were there to keep me true, to help me stand, to lead me through. You were there to keep me true, to help me stand, to lead me through. I've been walking in dreams and now I'm falling again. And once a shadow was cast, I never thought it would end. 'Cause it devoured the light and it consumed every cry, and it destroyed every hope and every reason to try. But I couldn't let go. You were there to keep me true, to help me stand, to lead me through. You were there to keep me true, to help me stand, to lead me through. You were there to keep me true, to help me stand, to lead me through. You were there to keep me true, to help me stand, to lead me through.
The guy playing bass. What happened? Rob recorded the entire album himself in his own studio. Then he got his friends to play the song in various locations so we could shoot the video. So he wrote the song, recorded all of the parts, all of them. I don't know if he did the drums. Maybe he didn't do the drums. The guy playing bass, that's Mike Ogle. Mike Ogle is the guy... It would take me a minute to dig it out. Remember Matchbox cars, and they first came out with Hot Wheels 50 some odd years ago? Mike Ogle did all the paint designs for the original Hot Wheels cars. That's how cool. Mike Ogle is the coolest guy, and he plays bass. He's really good. And like, he's got a house. He has 2 sons. Well, they're pretty much grown up now. They had a huge huge basement. And I used to pour basements, and I poured some of the biggest basements I've ever seen. This guy's got a huge basement. In one corner, he has a guitar shop where he builds guitars and sells them. And the rest of it is a massive indoor off-road RC car track. He had for years and years and years, the 1/8 scale alcohol fueled dragsters. Mike Ogle, he should have videos on YouTube. Let me go to YouTube. Mike Ogle, search across YouTube, and repair shop for RC cars. That's Mike Ogle. He was the bass player in that video. He's so cool. He's so cool. So, that was an old video, but to make a video like that, I have to listen to the song 300, 400 times. I really like that song. It was a really good album. He's really talented. He didn't make it big on his own. He didn't want to be big star on his own, but he's toured with like world tours and things. And these videos were a big part of him getting that. So, Rob Wisenhunt, very, very, very talented guy. Very talented guy. Plays every instrument. Like, he's just one of those guys. And you meet him, and then you're there in the studio. Okay, I think that's enough for one day. Thanks, Finn. Of course, he wrote the song and did everything, but yeah, I can edit video, but next I'll tell you how many weeks it took to create and edit that video, that 4-minute video. Okay, and I'm doing a couple of hours a week, and I have to research it and put it all together. So, thank you all very much, and thank you for the notes. Nothing means more to me. Do you know anything about international pedophile conspiracies, Finn? Do you know anything about the phony kidnapping of the Limburg brat? Do you know anything useful? Thank you also very much. Please spay and neuter your cannibals. Please take care of yourselves. There's a shitstorm coming. Don't kid yourself. Some of you are going to get more than one shitstorm. Stock up on food, toilet paper, candles, batteries. Okay? I'll see you in a couple days. I'm Professor Thomas Henry Horan, asking you to please stay plugged in to the Stones Unturned podcast.
He reads